everyone, Yuna from Oz here. Thanks for joining me today. For those who watch my videos, they will know that I have completed my little quick collage series journal. It's quite full. I did a little video on that to show the whole little journal in its entirety. So if you want to have a look at those quick pages, they're in my videos. So I have been trying to decide what I'm going to work on next. Now, I normally always work in my different size journals in mixed media, but I do like to have a little project or two on the go. I'm still finishing up some of my little birdie journals. I've still got one that's got a few pages to finish, but I am sort of a bit keen to start something else. So I was thinking about what little journals I could make next. Theme journals. I haven't done a lot of theme journals, and I'm quite keen to do a few more. So the first one that came to mind was good old Peter Rabbit. I grew up with Beatrix Potter and the Peter Rabbit stories and all her other ones. I've got a really old one of the old copies of a book here. It's a bit sort of water damaged, but I've got a little Peter Rabbit kit, a little bit of ephemera, so I thought maybe Peter Rabbit, don't know. And I have been working on a very large Harry Potter scrapbook. It's nearly finished, and the reason it's nearly finished is because the folder is so full, I don't think I'm going to get a lot more pages in. So I've got to try and work out what pages are priority and what I'm going to put in. So here is my leftover box. It's quite full of my Harry Potter ephemera. So I've got all kinds of things. I've got ribbons, and I've got cut up bits of paper. I've got die cuts. I've got stickers. I've got dies themselves. I've got all different kinds of paper and chipboard. So I've got quite a lot of this left over. So I thought maybe I could do a Harry Potter journal. Why not? I like Harry Potter. So I purchased these digital kits from suppliers on Etsy. Lana Scrap. I don't know these people personally. I don't have anything to do with them, but I really liked the wizardy pages. So I purchased these digital kits and printed them. I have a colour laser printer, so they're quite nice quality. I print them on nice bright white. I obviously have to back them with something. So I printed 2 kits. This is a little bit more whimsical, this one. It's got quite nice colours. It's got a lot of little bits of ephemera that I can do something with. It's got pockets and tags. And the other kit I bought was also a wizardy kit, but a little bit darker. And I've got them upside down. Hang on. So a little bit darker, not quite as whimsical as the other one, but I thought I could do a combination of the two. I could do something with 2 or 3 signatures. Again, they've got some nice pages. They've got a lot of images. And where's the ephemera? And they've got some ephemera, just some cutouts, some pockets, some sayings, some tags. So they've got quite a lot. So I thought I might think about doing a Harry Potter one. And then I remembered I've got these 2 beautiful really books. This one's by Edith Holden. I think I've only taken 1 page out of this. I'm really loath to cut it, but it really is a beautiful book, and the trouble is no one gets to see it but me. It even smells old, which is just delightful. Beautiful images. I love gardens. I love nature. I love birds, bugs and butterflies and all the things that go with it. So I thought maybe I could do a nature journal. And the other book I've got to go with it is Janet Mars's Nature Diary. I've got this one a while ago. Some of it's falling apart, but it also has some really, I've got to find them. It also has some really beautiful images. I have used a few bits and pieces out of here. I don't think it's quite as nice as the Edith Holden one, but it's still a really lovely book. I thought maybe I could use some of this for a nature diary, so a nature journal. So I've been tossing and turning and trying to work out what I'm going to do next, and I actually really think I'm going to do both. Being me, I do like to chop and change and work on different things. I like the idea that I can work on one journal one day and one journal the next, and then I might see something and think, oh, that would go in that, or that would go in that. So I try not to restrict myself to one thing or one theme. I also still will be working with my little prompty cards and my mixed media stuff. So I thought maybe I will start a journey through Harry Potter journal, which I have always wanted to do, and a nature journal because that is very close to my heart. So keep in touch. You will be seeing more and more things that I'll be doing with these. I'm just going to start with working out what I'm going to do as a cover, what I'm going to put as signatures, whether I'm going to back pages, whether I'm just going to use them neat, what kind of ephemera I'll make. I know I've already got quite a bit of ephemera made, so some things can go straight in, whether I'm going to do specimen cards or decorated pads or all tuck spots and tags, bookmarks, all kinds of things. I will just go to town. So anyway, keep in touch. I will be working on these two journals as soon as I can, and I will let you see how I go. All the best. Bye-bye. Hello, Yuna from Oz here. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to work on the, well, I have been trying to do some work on the Wizarding Journal. I was going to call it Harry Potter Journal, but I think it'll be more than Harry Potter. So I'm undecided whether to call it a Wizarding World, a Wizarding Journal, the Spellcaster Journal, the Spell Journal, the Spell Book. I will sort that out much later on. So I have made a bit of a start. So the first thing I did after I printed out all my kits and elements was I roughly cut them all up and put the small bits in baggies and the bigger bits in a bigger baggie and the big ones in a big baggie. There's two different kits, so that's why I've kept them separate. This just gives me an idea of what I've got to work with, and as these elements get smaller, they go into bags, and that's so I don't lose anything. So I've got 2 bags of bits and pieces, and then I decided I was going to start with some tags and bits and pieces because I haven't fully decided how I'm going to do the journal. So I just got some basic ivory coloured cardstock and started sticking the pieces down. I've got an envelope on some Quidditch paper, and then I just worked with tags and cards. These will be embellished. The reason I like this plain cardstock is I can do quite a bit for the back, so they can become journaling cards, they can become tags, they can become all kinds of things. So I've also used some, these were some Harry Potter leftover papers. These were some Graphic 45 Rare Oddity papers. So I've just stuck things down. They do need to be cut out. But it gives me a little bit of a starting point of where I'm going to go. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to put the journal together. I'm undecided whether I actually just glue the printed pages back to back, whether I make separate journal pages and glue them on, or whether I use an old book. I have decided that I will use this old book for the cover. I have quite a few old books, and this one is a good one because, as you can see, it's already falling to bits. So if I grab my scalpel blade, I might be able to just separate it up quietly. I was trying to work out whether I was going to actually do this or whether I was going to start pulling pages out of the book and glue pages together, but I actually don't think that's going to work because there's way too many pages in the book. So as you can see, this book is ready to fall apart. So this will be my cover. I've sort of been thinking about what I do on the cover. I am going to try and make it a little dark rather than a little fluffy and cute. So I can certainly use these pages. They're nice and yellow. They've got nice big words. I don't know what this date was from. So this is going to be my cover. I'll probably put 2 or 3 signatures in. I haven't decided whether I'm going to sew them in or whether I'm going to put eyelets and elastic bands. I quite like eyelets and elastic bands because if you do want to work on a signature, you can easily remove it. to work on it. But I thought this would make a nice cover. It's quite sturdy. It's not broken on the corners, and it's a little old, a little worn, and that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to do quite an ornate cover. I've sort of got an idea of what I'm going to do, but not 100%. I sort of just tend to go with the flow. Anyway, so I've made a start. If you've got any ideas for me, pop them down below. And because I still haven't 100% made a decision on what I'm going to do, I've sort of got ideas, and I've sort of got, the trouble is I've got too many ideas, and I really have to narrow it down. Anyway, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of these out and look at, put them into groups of what I'm going to highly decorate and what I'm not. I might even laminate some of these bookmarky things. I'll do a little bit on the back and laminate them, because I think that's quite nice to use them as actual bookmarks. And I'm going to work on my cover. I'm going to start making some elements and putting them together. Like I said, I'm going for a more darker theme, so there will be a lot of brown involved. And I'm even going to try and do some interesting page edges. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, join me next time and we'll see how we go. Thank you. So, I've worked on a few of the elements and the tags. So I've cut all the tags out, cut some detail out. I've edged them all in Distress Oxide Ground Espresso, and I've started decorating. So here are my little pockets. Now, because my pockets are now very firm, because they've been mounted onto light card, I made sure that my corners didn't overlap. So here are my little pockets that I've got. I think they've worked out really nice. That is obviously a corner pocket. This is a little envelope. I haven't stuck it together because I might use it as a template for more envelopes, because that's actually worked out really nicely. So there's a few little elements there. So this pile, they're still a bit wet. I actually smooshed some vintage photo and Ground Espresso onto the back of them. They're actually a little very wet, so they need to dry. These ones I did some stamping. I have hundreds of stamps, hundreds and hundreds. So these ones I've just done some stamping on. I left a little bit of space for journaling. I may or may not decorate them some more. This pile I also did some stamping, but I did some journaling space as well. They obviously need some more decoration. And this pile, they already had decoration on the back, so I may or may not decorate these some more. I also got my distressing tool and roughed up nearly all the edges somewhere, just to make things look a little rustic and a little old. Okay, so those are the elements I've been working on. Now, here is my sari silk. I got a lovely pile from India of old sari silk, just off cuts, and I actually think it's terrific. Beautiful colours. I just got a mixed pack, but I quite like this colour here to cut some ribbons from, so I can use them on my tags. So I thought this was nice, and if I can find my scissors, I'll have a go at cutting a few ribbons. I'm just going to cut strips because I'd like to use some make some ribbons for my tags. I want them rustic and frayed looking. I quite like these patterns here. They're not too bright, so I might even be able to use them in my journal. So I'm not particularly fussed with how straight my cutting is. It probably won't be straight at all. If I could be bothered getting up and walking over to the cabinet, I could get my sewing scissors, but they certainly make adequate ribbons for my tags. So I do like to use a little sewing detail as well in my journals. So some of the tags I may put some sewing detail on. stitch a few bits and pieces. I will be keeping away from flowery things, lacy things, fluffy things and girly things. Okay, so there are a few little strips that I've cut from my silk to put onto my tags. See if I can find one here. That's I've got one here. I'm looking for the ones with the holes in them. I can always put a hole. So this kind of thing, I'd just thread it through roughly. It is dropping bits everywhere, but you know, I don't really care. So I just use that as a tag, and you can see it's quite fraying up quite nicely. So that would be a nice embellishment for a tag. Whether I put more string or bits and pieces, I also have some charms, so I could put a charm on there. I've got so much stuff, my mind's going at 100 miles an hour thinking of all the bits and pieces I could do. Anyway, so I've started on my embellishment and my tags, and I'm now going to think about what I'm going to do for my cover of my book, and I will get my elements together and work on the cover. See you next time.